The elevator doors slid open and the aroma hit first, smoky, spicy, bold enough to
What's
command
going on down
attention.
there? I'm
Han
seeing
Jae-Min
smoke near
stepped
the
out,
elevators.
phone to his ear, irritation still simmering from 10 back-to-back meetings. He froze when he saw the source. A woman in the test kitchen stirring something that clearly didn't belong in his pristine building. Steam curled from the pot like mischief itself. She was humming, twisting her waist slightly as she stirred, a white apron hanging a size too big. When she turned, her eyes caught his, brown, alive, daring. "You're not supposed to be here," he said, voice sharp enough to slice through the haze. "I could say the same," Jessie replied, her Nigerian accent wrapping around the words with confidence. "But since you're here, you might as well taste this." She scooped rice into a bowl and held it out like an invitation he hadn't requested. He blinked. "No, thank you. We run a luxury brand, not a street kitchen." She smirked. "Then maybe your brand's missing a little soul." The jab landed harder than she meant. His assistant coughed in the corner. Jae-Min gave a curt nod and turned to leave, but curiosity betrayed him. He glanced back once, twice. Later, alone in his office, the scent refused to leave him. He loosened his tie, sat in the dark, and typed into Google, "Nigerian rice dishes." One word glowed back at him, "Jollof." He said it out loud, quietly testing its rhythm. So that's what she called it. Morning light spilled into the boardroom the next day. Jessie stood at the far end, the only intern among executives. Her proposal slide read, "Fusion without borders." "West African flavors can complement Korean ingredients," she said, steady and certain. "It's bold, yes, but so is your brand." Jae-Min leaned back. "Miss Okafor, luxury dining is about precision, not experiments." "With respect, sir," she replied, eyes locked on his. "Every great dish was once an experiment." A murmur moved through the room. His jaw tightened, but something in his gaze flickered. Amusement or admiration, he couldn't tell. After the meeting, he found her in the hallway, typing furiously on her tablet. "You're brave," he said. She looked up. "Or foolish." He almost smiled. "Both." That night, she stayed late, perfecting her recipe. When the janitor switched off the lights, she was still there, sweat on her brow, whispering to the rice as if it could hear her. "Come on, don't embarrass me," she muttered, tasting, adjusting, tasting again. A low voice startled her. "Talking to food now?" Jessie spun around. Jae-Min leaned on the doorframe, sleeves rolled, tie gone. The dim light softened him, less CEO, more man. "I didn't think you worked this late," she said. "I could say the same." He stepped closer, curiosity gleaming. "So this is jollof?" "This," she said, "is home." She offered him a spoon before he could object. He hesitated, then took it. The heat hit first, then flavor so layered it startled him. He coughed. "Too spicy." She laughed, bright and unfiltered. "That's how you know it's doing its job." He drank water, glaring, but she caught the hint of a smile tugging at his lips. "Not bad," he admitted. "Unrefined, but interesting." "That's the nicest thing you've said all week." Their eyes met, and for a moment, the air felt charged, like something new was cooking between them. Over the next few days, the office turned into quiet battlegrounds. He'd critique her dishes. She'd challenge his rigidity. Every conversation felt like chess sprinkled with heat. One afternoon, he entered the test kitchen unannounced. She didn't even glance up. "Back again. Should I save you a plate or an argument?" "Just checking if you've set the place on fire," he replied. "Only with flavor." She smiled without looking at him. He tried to hide his amusement and failed. Later, while she whisked a sauce, he leaned closer than he meant to. "You cook with your whole body," he said. "You don't," she teased. "I follow recipes." "That's your problem." He raised a brow. Excuse me? You're afraid to feel your own food, she said softly. You cook like you're avoiding something. Silence stretched. He stepped back, clearing his throat. That'll be all for today. But later, in his penthouse kitchen, he tried cooking again. No measuring cups, no timers, just instinct. It tasted different, warmer. By week's end, word spread that the CEO himself had been seen in the company kitchen after hours. Rumors flew. Jesse ignored them until he called her to his office. You're causing distractions, he said. Am I? She asked. Or are people finally paying attention? He stared at her, then, unexpectedly, laughed. Short, reluctant, but real. You really don't know when to stop, do you? Not when I believe in something, she said quietly. He looked away, hiding how the words hit. That evening, he stood by the window of his penthouse, Seoul lights glittering beneath him. Somewhere out there, she was still in the kitchen, fighting with spices, smiling like nothing could break her. For the first time in years, Jae-Min wondered what it might feel like to stop following recipes, in food, in work, in life. He poured himself a drink, but it didn't help. Her laughter echoed in his mind, warm and maddening. He whispered to the empty room, "What are you doing to me, Miss Okafor?" The next morning, the office hummed with quiet gossip. People whispered that the CEO had started showing up in the test kitchen at night. Jessie ignored it. She had bigger problems, like the upcoming fusion menu presentation. She was plating fried plantain beside grilled bulgogi when Jae-Min walked in unannounced, jacket draped over his arm. Your flavor combinations defy logic, he said, inspecting the dish. And yet you keep coming back, she answered without turning. Curious thing, logic. He stepped closer. Maybe I'm here to supervise. Or maybe, she said, sliding the plate toward him, you just want another taste. He didn't reply, just took the fork she offered. The first bite silenced the room. Sweet, smoky, spicy. The kind of flavor that refused to be forgotten. His eyes softened. You're learning balance, he murmured. She grinned. Or you're learning to stop measuring. A small laugh escaped him before he caught himself. Don't quote me. The tension hung there, electric and confusing. She turned back to her counter, pretending to focus. He lingered a moment longer than necessary before leaving. That night, Jessie uploaded a short vlog from her dorm kitchen. Cooking home in a foreign city. The next day, it had 200 comments, half from Nigerians in Seoul begging to meet her, the rest from curious Koreans asking where to try jollof. When the marketing director showed Jae-Min the video, he frowned but watched to the end. Her laughter filled the screen, her voice saying, "Food is the bridge between hearts that don't even speak the same language." He paused the video and whispered, "Bridge, huh?" Hours later, he appeared in the test kitchen again. Jessie was wiping her counter, earbuds in, humming Burna Boy. He pulled out one earbud. "You're trending," he said. "You watched it?" "Twice." Her cheeks warmed. "What did you think?" He hesitated. "You have presence. People believe you, do you?" she asked quietly. He didn't answer right away. "I want to." The silence turned intimate. He handed her a document. "The board wants a live tasting event next week. You'll lead it. With me. With you. I trust your instincts," he said simply. That trust changed everything. The following days blurred into rehearsals, menu tweaks, endless tasting. They fought and laughed through every mistake. He'd criticize a garnish. She'd roll her eyes. She'd oversalt a sauce. He'd secretly fix it. One late evening, rain lashed against the windows as they worked. The power flickered, then went out. "Well," Jessie said, sighing, "guess we're done for today." He lit a candle from the counter. "Not quite. We can still talk." "Talk about what?" "Why you came all this way." She smiled faintly. To learn, to grow, to show that where I'm from has flavor too. You could have stayed home. She looked at him steady. Maybe I was chasing something I couldn't name. The candlelight softened his features. And have you found it? Not yet, she said. Maybe I'm getting close. He felt that line like heat. Before he could respond, the lights returned, breaking the spell. At the event, the room was packed with critics and influencers. Cameras flashed as Jesse and Jae-Min presented the fusion menu: jollof, bibimbap, suya spiced galbi, plantain tteokbokki. Jesse's hands shook slightly. He leaned close and whispered, "Breathe. You've got this." She nodded. When the first critic tasted the jollof bibimbap and smiled, relief flooded her eyes. Applause followed, small at first, then growing. Afterward, backstage, she turned to him, glowing. "We did it." He surprised himself by saying, "No, you did." For a heartbeat, they just stared at each other. The air felt charged again. She stepped back quickly, laughing to break it. "Careful, boss. People will start talking. Let them," he said, softer than he meant to. The next day, an article titled "The Fusion That Worked" went viral. Investors were calling. Staff were celebrating. But Jessie couldn't shake how his words had lingered. That night, she found herself walking along the Han River alone, phone buzzing with congratulatory messages. She didn't notice him until he spoke. "Thought I'd find you here," Jae-Min said, hands in pockets. "You follow everyone who wins your approval." "Just the ones who make me rethink everything I know," she laughed softly. Dangerous habit. They stood side by side, Seoul's skyline shimmering on the water. He broke the silence. "My mother used to cook kimchi stew every Sunday. Same recipe, no variation. I thought that was love, consistency. But maybe love's more like your food, unpredictable, sometimes too spicy, but impossible to forget." Jesse's throat tightened. "That's the nicest compliment anyone's ever given my cooking." It wasn't just about the cooking. Her heart skipped. Before she could respond, his phone rang. He looked down, frown deepening. "It's the board." "Excuse me?" He stepped aside, voice hardening into corporate tone. She stared at the river, the moment dissolving like steam. Later that night, she texted him one word: "Thanks." He didn't reply, but he didn't sleep either. At 3 a.m., he stood in his kitchen, making jollof again, this time without instructions. He tasted it, winced at the spice, then smiled through the burn. If you're loving this Afro-Korean spark, hit subscribe, drop a comment telling which scene hit hardest, and tap that like button so more dreamers can find stories like this. The success of the fusion menu should have brought calm, but it didn't. Within days, the board began arguing over ownership of the idea. Articles were calling it the CEO's revolutionary vision. Jessie read the headlines on her phone, pulse thudding. Nowhere did her name appear. She burst into the conference room mid-meeting, anger trembling in her voice. "You said it was our project." Jae-Min looked up from the table, startled. The directors stared. "Miss Okafor, this isn't the place." "It's exactly the place," she snapped. "You let them erase me." A heavy pause filled the air. He could feel the director's eyes burning into him. "We'll handle this later," he said quietly. "No," she said, voice breaking a little. "You already did." She left before anyone could speak. He didn't follow. He couldn't, not with the board watching. That night, rain soaked Seoul again. Jessie stood outside the company gates, holding her internship badge. She slipped it into an envelope addressed to HR and dropped it in the box. The gate guard tried to speak. She only shook her head. Inside his apartment, Jae-Min scrolled through social media comments under the article. "Visionary Korean boss introduces new Afro-Asian cuisine." The praise should have thrilled him, but the words looked wrong. Empty. He called her. No answer. He typed a message, deleted it, typed again. You were right about food being a bridge. I just didn't know how to cross it. He never sent it. Days turned into a blur of meetings and sleepless nights. The restaurant booked record sales, but the food tasted hollow to him now. He caught himself scanning the kitchen door as if she might walk in again. One evening he entered the test kitchen out of habit. Her jollof pot still sat on the shelf. He lifted the lid. A faint trace of spice remained. Smoke, tomato, something like memory. He closed his eyes. Sir, his assistant said, stepping in. Money Food Network wants an interview about the fusion line. He almost said yes, but stopped. Cancel it. Cancel. But this could triple exposure. Then let it. Without me, the assistant blinked, confused. But Jae-Min was already walking out. 2 weeks later, Jessie stood at a street market in Itaewon, serving plates of jollof bibimbap to a crowd of foreigners and locals. She'd borrowed a friend's food truck slot and painted Taste of Home across the banner. Her eyes burned from lack of sleep, but every bite customers took brought a flicker of pride back. Miss Okafor, a familiar voice said behind her. She turned. He was there, no suit, just a gray hoodie, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes tired. You shouldn't be here, she said. I had to see for myself. She kept serving plates, avoiding his gaze. See what? That I'm surviving. That I ruined something I didn't know how to protect. She laughed once, bitter. You had every chance to protect it. He stepped closer. The board. Stop blaming the board, she said, finally looking at him. You made the choice. He exhaled, shoulders dropping. You're right. I was afraid, not of the board, of feeling too much. Feeling what? He hesitated. Everything you made me feel. You walked into my kitchen and turned rules into fire. For a moment, noise from the crowd blurred into silence. She stared at him, eyes softening despite herself. It's too late, Jae-Min. Then let me at least fix what I can. He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a printed notice. Joint credit. Han Jae-Min and Jessie Okafor, culinary directors. Her hands trembled. They agreed to this? They didn't have a choice. I resigned. Her eyes widened. You what? I can build another company, he said, but I can't rebuild respect. The crowd clapped for another batch of food. She looked between them and him, torn. You gave up everything for a name on a menu? No, he said softly. For the person who taught me why flavor matters. She bit her lip, fighting tears. You really think this fixes us? It's a start, he said. But if you tell me to leave, I will. She studied him for a long moment, then sighed. Grab a spoon. He blinked. What? Grab a spoon, boss. You're helping me serve dinner. A small smile broke through his exhaustion. He rolled up his sleeves and joined her behind the counter. Together they served plates to laughing customers. Someone recognized him and started taking photos. He didn't care. Later, when the crowd thinned, Jessie sat on a low stool, watching the city lights shimmer beyond the market roofs. He handed her a bottle of water. You always show up when I least expect it, she said. Maybe that's how bridges work, he answered. They only matter when someone decides to cross. She chuckled softly. You and your bridges. He met her eyes. You and your fire. For the first time in weeks, the air between them felt easy again. A month later, Seoul prepared for its annual Global Street Food Festival. Stalls lined the Cheonggyecheon stream, lights shimmering on the water. Jessie's banner hung proudly, Taste Without Borders. Beneath it, her small team plated colorful fusion dishes that smelled of home and soul all at once. She'd refused sponsorships, wanting to prove she could stand alone. Still, part of her felt an empty space where his sharp voice and quiet guidance used to be. The crowd gathered early. Reporters took photos, people queued. She moved with focus, smile steady, until someone placed a new dish in front of her counter, kimchi folded inside a jollof rice ball, garnished with sesame oil and suya spice. She froze. The plating was unmistakable. When she looked up, Jae-Min stood on the other side of the counter wearing a vendor badge. "Trade?" he asked. "Trade," she echoed, smiling before she could stop herself. They exchanged dishes. He took a bite first, closed his eyes. "Still burns," he said. She laughed. "That's how you know it's real." The cameras caught the moment, two chefs from different worlds, sharing food and laughter over a bridge of spices. As the evening deepened, festival organizers announced the Fusion Spirit Award. When Jessie's name was called, she froze again. The host continued, "For redefining connection through food." She stepped onto the small stage, applause washing over her. Microphone trembling, she said, "I came here thinking I'd teach Korea about Nigerian food. Instead, I learned that flavor doesn't belong to one country. It belongs to every heart brave enough to taste something new." The crowd cheered. Behind them, Jae-Min watched quietly, pride soft in his expression. After the ceremony, she found him by the river walk, where lanterns floated downstream. He handed her a small jar filled with deep red sauce. "Jollof paste?" she asked, teasing. He nodded. "My version," she laughed. "You finally cooked without measuring?" "I listened this time," he said. "You were right. The food talks." She opened the jar, inhaled. "Too much pepper." He smiled. "You taught me well." They stood there, side by side, watching people set lanterns on the water, each one carrying a wish. "What did you wish for?" she asked. He looked at her. "Second chances." She met his gaze, eyes soft. "You might just get one." For a long moment, neither spoke. The city noise faded to distant hum, replaced by the quiet rhythm of the stream. He said finally, "When you left, I realized I'd spent years chasing perfection. You made me remember what passion tastes like." Jessie looked down, her smile trembling. "And you made me believe some rules are worth breaking." He chuckled, shaking his head. "You never did play by any rules." "Maybe that's why the food worked." She turned to face him. "What now, boss?" He hesitated, then extended his hand. "Partners. This time officially. You and me. Equal plates." She stared at his hand for a moment, then took it. "You sure you can handle my spice?" He squeezed gently. "I've been practicing." Laughter spilled between them, light and real. "I see you smiling. Don't lie. Who else wants a part 2 of this Afro-Korean magic? Drop your favorite moment from this story in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter.